Hello parents and caregivers, and welcome. Today we're breaking down how to help your baby sit up independently. So if your baby is not sitting up at 9 months or 10 months, 11 months, and your baby is still not able to sit up without help, you're in the right place. Because I'm going to show you exactly how to build core strength, balance, and confidence so that your baby can sit up unsupported. We're skipping the wait and see, and we're going to jump right into research-backed techniques that you can start using right away today. By the end of this video, you'll know the readiness signs, the exact hands-on positions, how to challenge balance safely, and how to teach those crucial sitting transitions, getting into and out of sitting. If you're new to the channel, my name is Cherrick. I've been a pediatric physical therapist for over 25 years, and I show parents just like you how to help their baby use simple touch and movement to help their baby go from one gross motor milestone to the next. I help you not only make your baby stronger, but smarter. So let's get into today's topic, which is helping your baby to be able to sit up independently. Let's get into it. I'm going to move the camera back. We're going to get down on the ground. So grab your baby, get down on the ground. Now, independent sitting, it isn't just a milestone. It opens up your baby's entirely world to two-handed play, crawling, sitting up, moving in and out of sitting, and eventually walking. So the first thing we want to talk about is your baby ready to start practice sitting? We're going to go through a couple of different signs to determine if your baby is ready. So readiness sign number 1, head control. Your baby needs to be able to hold their head up while no bobbing. Try this gentle pull to sit test that I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to move the camera back and I'm going to show you this technique that I want you to do. And this is a way of testing your baby's head control and head stability. So if you have your baby on the ground in front of you and you gently grasp your baby by the hands and pull your baby up into seated position. Now, as you do this, what you're doing is you're looking for a head lag. Is your baby's head lagging behind their body? Now, if that is happening, that means that your baby's neck muscles are not strong enough and your baby is really not ready to be able to sit up and start playing and trying to move in and out of sitting. So that's the first thing. I also like to show parents to use this technique when bringing their baby into this position. If you grasp your baby like this and bring your baby up into sitting using the pull to sit maneuver, and you notice your baby has a head lag, I would suggest you do this. Take your hands, put your hands behind baby's shoulders and bring your baby up into the seated position. This will give baby a little bit more support around the shoulders and upper trunk and help baby to start developing some of that head control and building some neck strength. Another way to look at your baby's body and your baby's neck is to tilt your baby side to side and see if baby's head riding reflex will kick in and baby brings their head up. So you want to definitely test this and make sure that baby is able to hold their head up. Readiness sign number 2 is tummy time strength. What you want to do is look for if your baby is in tummy time and your baby is able to push themselves up straight on their arms like this. You want to make sure that your baby can push themselves up and push their chest up off of the ground and clear their chest. What baby is demonstrating to you with this readiness test number 2, the push up while baby's on their tummy, is that baby can prop themselves up when baby is sitting. So that's the second test you want to do with your little one before you actually start trying to have your baby sitting up and being able to move into and out of sitting. Readiness sign number 3 is baby's rolling skills. Again, what you want to do with the rolling skills, you want to make sure that your baby can roll in both directions, both front to back and back to front. So baby needs to be able to roll from lying on their back, reaching for a toy, onto their tummy, over the right side, over the left side. But baby also needs to be able to push themselves up from lying on their tummy and be able to roll over onto their back by pushing themselves up, bringing this arm up, pushing themselves, and rolling all the way onto their back. Now, as we get deeper into the video, later on in the video, I'm going to show you guys some techniques of me actually working with babies, live techniques, but I want to do this step-by-step demonstration so that you understand exactly what it is that you do and where to put your hands. Readiness sign number 4 is the spinal posture check in supported sitting. So you want to position your baby upright, and what you want to see is that baby can sit with their back straight like this. You don't want to see kind of a C curve like this where baby kind of collapses all the way forward like that. Now, if your baby passes all of these boxes and checks all of these boxes, that's great. If not, go back, focus on tummy time, rolling, and short supported sitting play. There's no rush. We're trying to avoid frustration and building success. So now let's move on to section number 2 and talk about sitting progress. Step number 1, or stage 1, is initial assisted sit-up. Here you're going to sit with your legs in a V position like I'm doing, facing away with your hands high on your baby's rib cage or just below baby's armpit. And what I want you to practice doing with this one is sitting in this position where I like to tell parents, get comfortable, sit in this position with your back up against a couch, sit with your baby in front of you, and have baby facing away from your body. Where baby's facing away from you, you can have baby with a toy. And one of the first things I like to tell parents is bring your thighs in so that your thighs are touching baby's hips. And this makes for a comfortable spot for baby to be seated in, and where baby is able to now begin to try to sit and play. The next step, you're going to take your hands, bring your hands around baby's chest, right up under baby's arms. So your arms are high around baby's chest, and sit in this position and start working and playing, let baby play. And now you're supporting baby, encouraging baby to reach for toys while you're setting baby in this position. This allows baby to only have to control their head, and you're controlling baby's trunk. So that is the first stage of putting your baby into sitting and working on developing some independent sitting balance. Stage number 2 is the assessment I want you to do on your baby's spine. Now, this is where you would break baby's spine up into 7 different sections and look to see if there's any kind of rounding at any particular point in your baby's back. You want to be looking at your baby's back sideways. That'll tell you exactly what area you need to be strengthening, and you can focus in on that. For instance, you might notice one part of your baby's back is straight and the other part is kind of collapsed. You can support baby at that particular point. Now, here's the thing with the baby's back. Your baby's back has all these different sections of baby's spine. Up here is the cervical spine. Then you come down around baby's chest area. That is the thoracic spine. There's the upper and lower thoracic spine. Then there's the lumbar area, which is your baby's lower back. There's the upper lumbar and lower lumbar area. And of course, come all the way down to baby's pelvis. Now, if you are noticing that your baby is sitting kind of like this one with a slight curve forward, this is totally fine and totally appropriate. But what you don't want to see is part of your baby's back is flat, and then all of a sudden there's a curve where part is fine and then it kind of curves in an abnormal way. I remember working with a little boy, and I could see at a particular spot, like right in the middle of his back, there was this portion where it was totally collapsed up top, but the rest of his spine was fine. So that's something you definitely want to keep an eye on and make sure that you're paying attention to. The next thing you want to be looking at is your baby able to sit with their legs in different position? Here's a couple of things, quick mention. You want to be able to do these exercises and activities in a progressive kind of way where baby, you're not expecting it to happen all at once. It's going to take some time, and you need to give your baby time to develop the motor skills and the core trunk strength and stability in order to be able to move through these different positions. So the first position where I talked about having your baby with your hands around baby's chest. The next thing that you can do for your baby is put your baby to sit in between your legs, again facing away from you. You can bring baby's legs wide apart like this and put baby's hands to prop herself on the ground. Some babies prefer putting their hands on the ground in between their legs. Some babies prefer to put their hands outside of their legs. Now, when you put baby's legs wide apart like this, what you're doing is you're increasing baby's base of support. Increasing baby's base of support makes it easier for your baby to be able to sit. That's the next position. The third position I want you to position your baby in is what's called long sitting. Again, we're going through this progression where you're giving your baby the opportunity to graduate from activities that are not very challenging, and you're making them slightly more difficult as we're scaffolding them up, making them more and more challenging until we get to dynamic sitting, which is coming up shortly. So you can put your baby in what's called long sitting, where you bring baby's feet together, and this will challenge baby's balance side to side. If you bring baby's legs together and you notice baby is falling towards the right side, what you can do is take your left hand, put it on baby's left hip, and that will cue baby's muscles on the left side of baby's body to bring baby back up into the seated position. Same thing on the other side. If baby tilts towards the other side, but use your right hand on baby's right hip, and that will cue baby's muscles on the side of baby's trunk on her right side to bring her body into a more upright position. Another way to challenge and make this a little bit more challenging for your baby is once you have your hands around baby's trunk up high, you can bring your hands down to baby's tummy, around baby's midsection. Work in that position for a little while, maybe for like a couple of days or a week, depending on how fast your baby's progressing. Each baby progresses at their own pace, and so I want you to give your baby a little bit of slack and recognize that not every baby is just going to blow right through all of these different stages. And so once you're able to bring your hands down to baby's hips, now baby is really kind of just sitting there independently. You can start to push baby a little bit further away from you so that there's some space between baby's bottom and your legs, and sit in this position and let baby play independently. I like to use toys that are kind of like at a 5 to 6 inch level where baby can put their hands on the toy. This one is obviously not, but this one you can put a toy on baby's lap and let baby play and bang on play with these toys and be able to actually sit and be playing independently. Now, as we move forward, you're going to try to make things a little bit more challenging for baby. The next position you can put your baby in is what's called ring sitting. Ring sitting is where you form baby's legs into a circle in front of her and let her sit in this position while she is playing. The ring sitting makes baby's base of support a little bit smaller than the wide base of support that baby would get from their feet wide apart, and it's probably about as challenging as having baby in long sitting. So those are a couple of positions I want you to pay attention to and try to put your baby through those sequences of positions. Do not fall over, my friend. You need to do some independent sitting. And continue to work with your baby as you're moving forward. So these are some good activities and some good positions to put your baby in. All of these where you have baby playing kind of a static position and not really trying to do a whole lot of movement, kind of reaching outside of baby's base of support, where you have baby in these different positions and baby is playing, but they're pretty much static. Another position that you can do is side sitting. Side sitting is where you take both of baby's legs and put them off to one side, prop her hands on the ground, and let her play in this position where you can have baby playing with a toy with one hand while supporting herself with the other hand. So now let's move into dynamic sitting. This one, first activity is what's called tilted practice with the gentle support of baby's hips, and you want to just cue baby to reach outside of their base of support to get a toy and then come back within their base of support. This is just a very nice dynamic way of being able to help baby to engage those side muscles on the opposite side of her body. Activity number 2 can be some turning reaching games where you sit, position baby facing away from you again, sit and have baby reaching across her body, crossing midline and reaching for a toy. If baby falls to either side, baby can land on your legs, or if baby's going to fall forward, she will put her hands out. Activity number 3 is playing while sitting with 2-hand support. Demand these tiny little postural corrections. It looks like play, it's actually core training. So let's talk about section number 4, which is independent sitting and being able to do it safely. Removing your support from hands and hips, hover without touching, slide your legs away to make a soft runway. Start with 10 to 15 seconds where you're gradually increasing the level of difficulty as baby's level of difficulty expands. Let's talk about creating a safe area for your baby to be able to play in. You can use a boppy pillow, something that's not around your baby, but that is close by, that baby is going to use. And put that around baby. So you can put baby into a position, into a boppy like this, where baby just has the boppy kind of behind her, where she can play safely. And if baby loses her balance, she'll fall backwards onto the boppy. So that's a good way to do that. You also want to try to avoid those floor seats, like the Dumbo floor seats. I am not a big fan of those floor seats because here's what they do. They give you the illusion that your baby is able to sit, but they're actually just propping your baby up in the sitting position. The support is very high around baby's trunk, and so baby just sits there passively, kind of leaning backwards or leaning to one side or the other or leaning forward and not really doing much work. And so that's why I don't really care for the Dumbo seats or any kind of artificial seating device, especially those that give baby way too much support. I would prefer to see baby playing on the ground with something like a boppy behind her or a regular couch cushion. If you don't have a baby boppy, you can use that and baby can come down whenever baby needs to. Let's move on and talk about mastering transition. Now, why are transitions important? A baby who can only hold a pose will struggle in real play. Transitions wire your baby's brain for mobility. So let's talk about transition number 1, which is sideline. Roll baby to their side with their legs straight together, kind of like this, and then cue baby to push herself up into the sitting position. You can support baby at baby's hips and encourage baby to push herself back up into the sitting position. Transition number 2 is kneeling. Kneeling on the hands and knees. So if you have baby kneeling and you put your hands on baby's hips and bring baby off towards one side and then encourage baby to push herself up with her hands, baby can then slide her feet in front of her, and now baby is practicing sitting, but she's also practicing the transition from kneeling into sitting. Transition number 3, tummy time. From transition from blah, 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 blah. Do, 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 do. Here's transition number 3, tummy time into crawling. Guide your arms towards the floor on one side to the other side of tummy, and then bend the legs to one side. Place a toy forward diagonally and shift baby's weight to their hands. Hello, crawling position. Let's do that one more time with a demo. Here's transition number 3. Let's say baby is in tummy time. And what you're going to do is put your hands under baby's tummy, bring baby up into the kneeling position, encourage baby to push their hands down and push up on the ground while you're bringing baby into the seated position, kind of like we did before. Once baby is up and seated, then you're in the right position. Let's do a quick recap for anyone with a baby not sitting up yet or worried about a sitting delay. 1, check readiness, check for head control, tummy time strength, rolling both ways, and before we do a recap, I wanted to jump in and do a quick demo of what this might look like with you working with your actual baby. So I'm going to show you a couple of treatment sessions where I'm actually working with babies, working on the skills that we talked about earlier. So the first one I'm going to show you is a baby working in the seated position, playing, and trying to be able to move while they're seated. So let's get that slide up here. Where is it? Tip number 1. Let's remove that. So you can see this baby is totally slouched back against my body, and we're kind of just starting the being able to sit and transition and actually being able to start working on his sitting balance. He does not have a whole lot of core trunk strength and a whole lot of stability. And so I'm explaining to dad right now that I want him to start working with baby and showing him how to be able to start sitting. So I'm going to start off by giving him some support around his trunk and then gradually going through the stages of being able to get him to sit up. But you can clearly see that right now he's not able to sit on his own and that he's not doing very well in terms of just being able to sit up. I have him holding my hands as a way to try to get him to start being able to sit. But you can see even with propping himself up, he's not doing super well. He's actually getting a little bit better. You can see him. This is the reason I position myself behind him, so that if he loses his balance to one side or the other, that I'm there to be able to catch him. And this is kind of a dynamic activity where you're going to be playing around with your baby, giving support, taking the support away, and try to figure out just how strong your baby is. It's a process that takes a little bit of playing around with it and moving through the stages back and forth as your baby begins to get stronger and begins to be able to improve their core trunk strength and stability and start being able to sit in a more upright position and be able to play and actually start to try to do things as their trunk is getting stronger and stronger. Here he goes. I'm explaining to mom and dad how to position themselves so that as he loses his balance, they're in a position to be able to catch him and bring him, get him to come back up into that seated position. You can see here I'm giving him some support around his trunk and positioning his legs in that wide, increasing his base of support like we talked about to do early on, and cue him to start being able to sit up on his own and be able to take his weight and start reaching outside of his base of support just a little bit to challenge his trunk stability, challenge his trunk strength by taking away my support and just letting him play around and be able to figure out just how far he needs to be able to go before he'll tip over. Here you can see me working with him, working on some of those pre-sitting skills, like being able to roll over in both directions. You can see I have a toy there for him to reach for as he is rolling, and he might have been trapped in kind of sideline there for a little bit, and I just kind of let him sit and play in that position while he is reaching. There's nothing wrong with that. Eventually, you'll be able to get that roll. Now, why am I showing you a baby rolling when we're talking about sitting? Rolling, like I said before, is going to cue all of those side muscles, his intercostal muscles on the side of his tummy. It's going to strengthen those muscles and help him to be able to sit up and rotate his trunk as he's sitting. And so that's why I'm working with him in being able to roll. You'll notice I'm cueing him to roll in both directions. Up next, I'm going to show you him as he's actually progressing and being able to roll in both directions independently. Right now, he's still getting a lot of help from me. He's getting trapped and kind of getting hung up on his side, but I'm continuing to work with him, reaching for toys. If you position a toy just off to the side, above his head and off to the side, that'll cue him to reach for the toy. Playing in the sideline position rather is actually a very good position to put your baby in and have baby in the sideline position, playing, reaching for toys, so that baby can start developing some trunk strength and improving their ability to actually roll themselves over. Now you can see he likes to roll towards one direction more so than the other direction. Now here it is, he is gotten a little bit better. This was, I want to say like a week or two after that video that I just showed you. And you can see that he's already getting better at rolling over. His trunk strength is getting better and he's able to roll. And now I'm challenging him to roll in both directions. He likes to go one way, and so I'm really making a concerted effort to get him to lock onto the toy, track the toy with his eyes, rotate that head, and go ahead and bring his body over. I'm trying to cue him to segment his trunk and be able to bring his body over. You can see he's still getting hung up in one direction. Now, this is something you want to pay attention to with your baby. You want to make sure that your baby is able to roll in both directions, both towards the left and towards the right side. And if baby gets stuck, practice to their non-favorite side. Make sure you don't neglect that side, and go ahead and practice towards the non-favorite side. You can see him as he's getting better and better in his sitting capabilities. You can see me with my hands high up around his trunk, cueing him, looking at his back, examining his spine like I spoke about earlier. And I'm trying to cue him to straighten his spine and sit with a more upright posture and stop just leaning forward like he tends to do from time to time. And so by using these techniques with your baby, giving support when you feel that it's needed, and then taking it away when you feel like your baby is beginning to get the stability that they need to be able to sit on their own, your baby will develop that trunk strength that you're looking for and be able to start holding themselves and holding their body up in a higher and more upright seated position, and eventually be able to move on to some more dynamic play where they can start moving in the seated position and start to get their body just being able to sit and feel more confident and capable sitting in a more upright position. This position here I like to do is called a little mini seated push-up, where I'll make my fingers and my hands kind of stiff and let him sit there, hold on to my hands, and push his body up as he feels more comfortable getting him to sit in a more upright position. Whenever I notice him dropping and curving his back, I'm trying to cue him by kind of poking him in his lower back, in his lumbar region, and cue him to be able to start sitting in a more upright position and be able to get that back straight as he's sitting and as he's playing on his own. This is something that you should spend a lot of time with, especially if your baby is not able to sit and play independently. You want to be able to work on this position and get your baby going to the point where they can start moving into and out of sitting on their own. This is quite challenging for babies, so don't be afraid to let him take breaks from time to time. Let me bring up my next video here, which is baby kind of surprising me, where he sat up a little bit better. Obviously, this is not the right video. Let me get the other video of him. Let me see, which video was that? Where I'm trying to cue him to sit up and work on being able to improve his dynamic sitting balance and start actually reaching for things. This is more of propped sitting, where he is not yet able to sit up independently, but he is getting there slowly but surely. This video is actually the video I was looking for. It's a little bit later, where I have him sitting. I'm cueing him to work on his sitting balance and just being able to start grabbing, reaching for toys, and being able to play in this position. From back to tummy and tummy to back, and posture. Use the 7 zone that I talked about to look at baby's spine to determine where to give the support necessary. Gradually lower support to your baby's hips, then hover and sitting. You want to add tilting and reaching to build balance. Practice side sitting and transitions daily in both directions. Keep in mind, you are your baby's best coach. Every wobble teaches balance. Every short session builds core strength. Independent sitting is coming. Drop your questions in the chat. Let me know how long your baby can sit before tipping over, and grab the free PDF. All right, I'll talk to you in the next video, my friends. Take care. The next video, I'm going to do a lot more